Captain Alex Thorne never expected that a routine exploration mission would lead him to the edge of the galaxy, nor did he foresee meeting 4 alien women who would forever alter the course of his life. As the commander of the starship Odyssey, designed for deep space exploration, his journey had taken him through the fringes of known space and uncharted territories where few dared to venture. One quiet day, while scanning a desolate sector, the ship's radar pinged unexpectedly, detecting a small spacecraft drifting aimlessly. The vessel was alien, adorned with strange symbols, and it appeared to be in distress. Driven by concern and a strong sense of duty, Alex navigated his ship closer, realizing that the craft was heavily damaged, likely from a recent skirmish. Fires had scorched parts of its exterior, and debris floated nearby. A sense of urgency gripped him. What had happened here? Who were they? Without further hesitation, Alex initiated docking procedures and cautiously stepped aboard the unfamiliar vessel. The interior was eerily quiet, with emergency lights flickering, casting long shadows across the metal walls. As he advanced through the tight corridors, his boots echoed softly against the floor. In the main chamber, he discovered something unexpected: 4 stasis pods. Inside each pod lay an unconscious alien female, each strikingly different, yet undeniably in peril. A glance at the pod status indicator showed that life support was failing, and time was running out. Acting quickly, Alex managed to transfer the 4 women to the safety of his ship. As he activated his ship's medical systems to stabilize them, a wave of unease washed over him. Who were these women? Why were they here? What dangers awaited them in the vast expanse of space? A few days passed before the first of the alien women awakened. Her deep azure eyes blinked open, scanning her surroundings warily before locking onto Alex. Slowly, with a voice filled with both fear and relief, she spoke in a language he couldn't understand. Grabbing his portable translator, Alex managed to catch a few words: help, attack, and Xarath. Soon, the others awoke, introducing themselves as Elara, Sira, Layla, and Talia. They were members of an advanced species known as the Lysarians, renowned for their remarkable telepathic abilities and advanced technology. They had been on a diplomatic mission to secure alliances against a hostile race known as the Xarath, marauding conquerors who had destroyed many worlds and sought to enslave others. As Ethan listened to their story, a growing sense of responsibility washed over him. These women were not just survivors. They were key figures in their people's fight for survival, and they had no one left to turn to but him. Determined to help, he plotted a course back to a safe outpost where they could assess their situation. However, as the days went by, Alex noticed the bond between him and the Lysarian women growing stronger. They shared stories of their worlds and the horrors they had witnessed, and in return, he revealed the strength and determination of humanity, sparking their admiration. Yet amid the camaraderie, something deeper began to blossom. Elara's gentle telepathic nudges, Sira's quiet understanding, Layla's playful humor, and Talia's protective nature made them see Alex not just as their savior, but as someone far more significant. As their attraction grew, so did the danger. The Xarath were still out there, and now they were aware of Alex's involvement. Days turned into weeks, and the journey to safety felt endless. The Lysarian women adapted to life aboard the Odyssey, each contributing in her own way. Elara, the healer, established a small medical bay, tending to wounds and enhancing the ship's health systems. Sira, a skilled engineer, worked tirelessly alongside Alex to boost the ship's defenses and improve its speed. Layla, with her sharp intellect, decoded intercepted Xarath transmissions, while Talia, a warrior, stood watch, ready to defend them at any moment. One evening, after a particularly exhausting day of repairs, the 4 women gathered before Alex. He could feel the tension in the air. Elara, who seemed to act as their leader, stepped forward, her eyes soft but serious. "Alex," she began, "we've been talking and we've come to a conclusion. In our culture, when someone saves us from certain death, we offer them something significant in return." Alex raised an eyebrow, unsure of where this was heading. "You don't owe me anything," I helped because it was the right thing to do. Elara exchanged glances with the others before continuing. It's more than that. We have developed strong feelings for you. In Lasarian culture, it is common for multiple partners to share a deep bond, a lifelong connection. We would like to form that bond with you. The weight of her words hit Alex like a freight train. For alien women were asking for his hand in marriage. He had experienced many strange occurrences during his time as a space explorer, but this was unlike anything he had ever encountered. He stammered, unsure how to respond, but Elara's warm smile and Talia's knowing look reassured him. We don't ask for an answer now, Sira added softly but firmly. Know that we value you deeply and will stand by your side, no matter what. Before Alex could respond, the ship's alarms blared. A Xarath scout had detected their presence, and danger was once again closing in. There was no time to dwell on emotions. Survival came first. As the Xarath ship approached, Alex's training kicked in. The battle was fierce, with energy blasts illuminating the void of space. But thanks to Sira's engineering upgrades and Layla's strategic planning, they managed to evade the enemy, though not without sustaining damage to their ship. Alex's bond with the Lysarians had grown stronger than ever, forged through shared emotions and the fight for survival against an unstoppable threat. His grip on the controls tightened as the Xarath ship closed in, its weapons locking onto them. The weight of the moment pressed heavily on him. His life and those of 4 alien women hung in the balance. Sira's upgrades had bought them time, but they needed more than just time. They needed a miracle. We got incoming. Brace for impact, Alex yelled, his voice strained as he pushed the ship into a sharp, evasive maneuver. The ship rattled violently as an energy blast skimmed the hull, sending sparks flying in the cockpit. Elara, seated beside him, monitored the power systems, her fingers dancing over the console with precision. Shields are holding, she reported, her calm demeanor a stark contrast to the chaos around them. Layla, standing behind them, stared intently at the holographic display of the Xarath ship. They're trying to cut us off from the asteroid field, she warned. We need to head deeper into the debris if we want to lose them. Alex nodded, taking her advice as he veered the ship toward the asteroid field ahead, weaving through massive chunks of rock that floated in space. Each boulder they passed felt like either a shield or a deadly obstacle. The larger and more powerful Xarath ship followed relentlessly, unleashing a barrage of plasma fire, illuminating the dark void of space. Every explosion sent vibrations through their ship, a constant reminder that one wrong move could end it all. We need those engines at full power, Alex shouted. I'm working on it, came Sira's voice crackling through the comms. Her hands were deep inside the core, making last-minute adjustments. Sparks flew as she routed power through the backup systems, trying to squeeze every ounce of energy from their battered ship. They're gaining on us, Elara muttered under her breath, her empathic abilities picking up on the fear and tension rippling through the crew. But she remained focused, her mind a pillar of calm amidst the storm. As Alex swerved the ship hard to the right, narrowly avoiding a collision with a spinning asteroid, his heart pounded in his chest. There was no time to think about the danger. It was all instinct now. Move or die. Just as the Xarath ship lined up for another attack, Layla's voice cut through the tension. There! That asteroid cluster. If we can make it inside, their sensors will lose us in the interference. Without hesitation, Alex adjusted course, and the ship shot toward the cluster, where hundreds of small asteroids orbited in chaotic patterns. It was a gamble, but it was their only chance. Hold on, he warned as they entered the asteroid cluster. The ship jolted violently as it navigated through the tumbling rocks, the proximity alarms blaring warnings of imminent collisions. But Alex remained focused, dodging and weaving, every move calculated and crucial. Behind them, the Xarath ship hesitated. Its massive frame wasn't built for such tight maneuvers, and as it struggled to follow, the asteroid field worked against it, slowing its advance. They can't keep up, Layla exclaimed, hope filling her voice. But Alex wasn't ready to celebrate just yet. Not until they were clear. Minutes passed like hours as they threaded their way through the asteroids. The ship groaned under the strain, the hull creaking from the near misses. Finally, as they emerged from the other side of the cluster, the Xarath ship was nowhere to be seen. "Did we lose them?" Elara asked, her voice shaky. Alex scanned the sensors for any sign of pursuit. After a tense moment, he let out a long breath. "Yeah, we lost them for now." The crew erupted in a mixture of relief and exhaustion. Elara leaned back in her seat, her body trembling slightly as the adrenaline began to fade. Sira, still at the engineering console, began rerouting power to stabilize the ship's systems, while Layla began analyzing their next moves. With the immediate danger averted, the atmosphere shifted in the ship. It was time to confront what had developed between them during the crisis. Alex turned to face the women. "I don't know how to say this," he started, feeling the weight of their eyes upon him. "What you offer back there, it's a lot to take in. I never thought I would be in a situation like this, let alone with 4 incredible women." Elara stepped forward, her expression earnest. "You saved us, Alex. You risked your life for us. What we offer is more than a partnership. It's a bond that transcends our differences. Together, we can fight against the Xarath and protect not just ourselves, but also our people." Alex took a deep breath, realizing the truth in her words. He had grown to care for each of them in ways he hadn't anticipated. "I'm in," he said, his voice steady. "I want to be with all of you, but we have to focus on the threat first." Layla smiled, her eyes sparkling with joy. "We'll get through this together. We are stronger as a unit." As they navigated back toward the nearest Lasarian outpost, Alex's resolve hardened. He had not only found companionship, but also a purpose: to stand against the Xarath and protect the women who had become so important to him. With each passing day, their bond deepened, and as they prepared to face the challenges ahead, he knew they would emerge not just as allies, but as a united force, destined to change the fate of the galaxy forever. As the Odyssey navigated the dense asteroid belt, Alex felt the atmosphere aboard the ship shift. The tension from the recent battle hung in the air, mingling with the excitement of newfound bonds. The 4 Lysarians, Elara, Sira, Layla, and Talia, busied themselves, each immersed in her own tasks, yet the unspoken connection between them simmered beneath the surface. Approaching the Lasarian outpost, Alex announced as the massive structure emerged from the shadows of a nearby planet. Its sleek lines and glowing energy shields a stark contrast to the chaotic environment they had just escaped. The outpost was a marvel of engineering, designed to withstand attacks and provide refuge for the Lysarians. Elara glanced at Alex, her azure eyes reflecting both admiration and concern. "We need to restock supplies and gather intelligence about the Xarath," she reminded him, her voice steady. "We can't let them catch us off guard again." "Agreed," Alex replied, feeling the weight of their collective responsibility. He guided the Odyssey toward the docking bay, the ship's systems humming in synchronization with his commands. As the ship settled into place, the docking clamps engaged with a reassuring clunk. "We're safe for now," Sira declared, letting out a breath she didn't realize she was holding. "Let's get to work." The crew disembarked, Alex leading the way. The docking bay was bustling with Lasarian activity. Engineers hurriedly repairing ships, scientists analyzing data, and guards patrolling the perimeter. The moment they stepped inside, curious eyes turned toward them, whispering in hushed tones. News of the recent Xarath incursions had spread, and the sight of 4 alien women accompanying a human was an unusual spectacle, raising both eyebrows and intrigue. Talia, the warrior of the group, noticed the glances. "We should keep a low profile," she suggested, her voice low but firm. "The Xarath are everywhere, and we can't afford to draw attention to ourselves." As they moved through the bustling corridors of the outpost, they were greeted by a mix of friendly waves and wary stares. Elara led them toward the command center, a large room filled with holographic displays and monitors streaming information about the galaxy. The air crackled with tension as Lasarian officers discussed their strategies against the Xarath threat. "Commander Draven will want to speak with us immediately," Elara said, her voice resolute. "He'll need to know the details of our escape and what we've learned." Alex nodded, feeling a mix of anticipation and anxiety. Commander Draven was a respected leader, known for his tactical prowess and no-nonsense approach to threats. As they approached the command center, a sense of determination filled him. They weren't just here to regroup, they were here to make a stand. Inside the command center, the atmosphere shifted as they entered. Several officers turned, and a tall, imposing figure stepped forward. Commander Draven had silver hair and piercing green eyes that seemed to assess every detail. "Captain Thorn," he greeted, extending a hand. "Your reputation precedes you. I hear you've become quite the hero." "Just doing what I can," Alex replied, shaking the commander's hand firmly. "We need to discuss the Xarath and what's happening out there." Draven nodded, his gaze shifting to the Lasarian women. "And these brave women have much to contribute, I believe." "Commander, we barely escaped," Elara interjected, her voice calm but urgent. "The Xarath are more organized than we anticipated. They're gathering forces, and we need to strategize our next move." "Indeed," Draven replied, turning his attention to the holographic map displayed in the center of the room. "We've intercepted transmissions indicating a large Xarath fleet assembling near the Kintar Nebula. They're planning a full-scale assault on our neighboring worlds." "Do we have allies nearby?" Layla asked, stepping forward. Her intelligence and insight impressed Draven, who nodded thoughtfully. "We've reached out to several systems, but many are hesitant to engage due to the threat the Xarath pose," Draven explained. "Fear can be a powerful deterrent, but we have to rally support. If we wait too long, it might be too late." Alex glanced around the room, taking in attention etched on the faces of the officers. "We can't rely solely on other systems. We need to take the fight to them. If we can disrupt their operations at the Kintar Nebula, we might be able to prevent the attack." Draven considered this for a moment, then gestured for the officers to convene around the holographic map. "Let's hear your plan, Captain. Your insight as an outsider could provide a fresh perspective." As Alex laid out his strategy, Elara, Sira, Layla, and Talia chimed in, contributing their own ideas and tactics. The meeting morphed into a lively discussion, each member of the team enhancing the overall plan. As they strategized, Alex felt an electric thrill of camaraderie. They were no longer just an eclectic crew. They were a unit, each member vital to the mission. The conversation shifted as Sira analyzed the incoming data. "If we hit their supply routes, we can starve them of resources. We know they rely on a steady flow of materials from the mining operations in the nebula." "Exactly," Layla added, her enthusiasm infectious. "If we can disrupt those operations, we can weaken their forces before they even reach the neighboring worlds." Draven nodded approvingly, his demeanor shifting from skepticism to support. "I like it, but we need to act quickly. If the Xarath are gathering forces, they won't wait for us to strike." As they finalized the details of the plan, Alex felt a renewed sense of purpose. The bonds he had formed with the Lysarians weren't just emotional. They were forged in the fires of battle and necessity. They had each other's backs, and together they would confront the storm ahead. After the meeting concluded, the group stepped outside the command center, the hum of activity surrounding them. Elara glanced at Alex, a hint of a smile gracing her lips. "You did well in there. I knew you would." "Thanks, but I couldn't have done it without you all," he replied, feeling a warmth spread through him. "We're in this together." As they walked, Talia fell into step beside him, her expression thoughtful. "What do you think our chances are?" she asked, her voice serious. Alex considered her question, his brow furrowed. "It's hard to say. The Xarath are dangerous, but we have the element of surprise on our side. We can use their overconfidence against them. And if we succeed," she pressed. He met her gaze, his heart pounding. "If we succeed, we show them that the Lysarians will not be easily conquered. We take back our strength and unite others to join us. It could change the tide of this conflict." Talia nodded, her fierce spirit shining through. "Then let's make sure we succeed." The group returned to the Odyssey to prepare for the mission ahead. Each of the Lysarians took their stations, with Sira working diligently in engineering, Elara organizing medical supplies, Layla analyzing data for tactical advantages, and Talia securing weaponry. Alex couldn't help but admire the synergy that had formed between them. As they prepped for departure, Alex's thoughts drifted to the uncertainty of the battle ahead. But he was ready. For the first time in his life, he felt a sense of belonging and purpose, standing alongside for women who had become not just allies but something much more profound. The Odyssey lifted off from the outpost, the stars stretching out before them like a vast ocean. As they entered the depths of space, Alex turned to the crew, his voice resolute. "We're heading into the storm, but we'll face it together. Let's make our stand and show the galaxy what we're made of." With a collective nod, they charted their course for the Kintar Nebula, ready to confront the threat that awaited them. The battle would not be easy, but together, they would carve their destiny among the stars. The Odyssey soared through the vast emptiness of space, its engines humming steadily as they approached the Kintar Nebula. Outside the viewports, vibrant clouds of gas swirled in a kaleidoscope of colors, deep purples, electric blues, and fiery oranges that glowed against the backdrop of distant stars. It was beautiful, yet foreboding, a perfect hiding place for the Xarath fleet. As they neared the nebula, tension settled over the crew. Alex stood at the helm, glancing at the tactical display projected in front of him. The holographic map pulsed with activity, showing numerous ships clustered together near the heart of the nebula. "Looks like they've already started their preparations," he said, frowning. "We need to move quickly." Prepping the cloaking device, Sira announced from her station in engineering, her fingers dancing over the control panel. "We'll be able to slip past their outer defenses without detection." "Good," Alex replied, feeling the familiar rush of adrenaline. "Let's get as close as we can before they spot us." Elara entered the bridge, her expression a mix of determination and concern. "I've checked our medical supplies. We're ready for any injuries we might encounter, but we need to keep our casualties to a minimum." "Agreed," Talia added, leaning against the wall, her arms crossed. "The goal is to disrupt them, not engage in full-scale battle unless necessary." Layla stood by the sensor array, her brow furrowing as she monitored the readings. "I'm picking up energy signatures. They're definitely mobilizing. If we're going to strike, it has to be now." "Let's do this," Alex said, steeling himself. Sira, engage the cloaking device and set a course for the nearest Xarath supply ship. Elara, prepare for boarding. Talia and Layla, get ready for combat. We need to hit them hard and fast." The crew nodded, each member falling into their roles with practiced precision. The Odyssey transitioned into stealth mode, the ship's exterior shimmering as it blended into the backdrop of stars. As they glided silently toward their target, the atmosphere in the bridge shifted. The tension was palpable, a blend of excitement and anxiety as they prepared to face an enemy that had already proven to be formidable. Alex kept his eyes focused on the tactical display, noting the closest Xarath supply ship, a cargo vessel brimming with vital resources. "There it is," he pointed, heart pounding. "Let's approach from the starboard side. We'll board through their cargo hatch." Sira adjusted their course, her fingers deftly managing the controls. "We're almost in position. Cloak will hold as long as we stay under a certain speed." As they neared the Xarath vessel, Alex felt a surge of confidence. This was their chance to strike back, to make a statement. The crew fell silent, each preparing for the fight ahead. "Okay, we're within range," Sira reported, her voice steady despite the tension. "Cloak holding. Ready on your mark, Captain." "Layla, how are the sensors?" Alex asked, glancing over his shoulder. "Detecting minimal activity inside the ship. It seems like they're not expecting an attack," Layla replied, a determined glint in her eyes. "We can take them by surprise." "Then let's move," Alex commanded. Sira, drop the cloak, engage the boarding ramp, and prepare for combat. Everyone, stay sharp. The Odyssey emerged from the shadows, revealing itself to the Xarath cargo vessel. The crew quickly activated the boarding ramp, which slid open with a hiss. "On my mark," Alex instructed, gripping the side of the ramp. 3, 2, 1, go! They charged forward, weapons drawn. The crew leapt onto the Xarath ship, adrenaline pumping as they stormed into the dimly lit cargo bay. The air was thick with tension, the metallic smell of the ship surrounding them. A group of Xarath guards, taken by surprise, scrambled to react. "Intruders!" one shouted, raising a blaster as chaos erupted. "Take them down!" Talia roared, charging forward with fierce determination. Layla swiftly assessed the situation, her mind racing. "We need to divide and conquer. Talia, you take the left flank. Elara and I will cover you." Sira provided tactical support, firing from a distance. "I've got your back," she yelled, her aim precise as she took out one of the guards. Alex followed Talia, adrenaline coursing through his veins as they engaged in a fierce firefight. He ducked behind a cargo crate, firing his blaster at a group of Xarath soldiers who were beginning to regroup. "Keep pushing forward," he shouted, rallying his team. With Talia leading the charge, the crew worked seamlessly together, each member playing to their strengths. Elara provided support from a higher vantage point, while Layla utilized her keen instincts to anticipate the enemy's moves. Sira kept their position secure with a steady stream of fire, neutralizing threats before they could escalate. As they fought through the cargo bay, the sound of blaster fire echoed in the confined space, mixing with the shouts of the Xarath soldiers. Alex felt the thrill of the battle, the camaraderie of fighting alongside his team. They were united in their mission, their movements synchronized as they pressed forward. "Clear," Talia called, emerging from behind a stack of crates, her eyes fierce and alive with the thrill of combat. "Let's push to the control room." With the cargo bay secured, they moved swiftly through the narrow corridors of the ship. Alex took the lead, heart racing as they navigated the unfamiliar layout. The walls pulsed with an ominous energy, the Xarath's technology starkly different from what they were used to. Layla glanced at the control panel as they passed. "We need to take control of their systems. If we can disable their communication and navigation, we'll cripple their operations." "Good thinking," Alex replied. "Let's find the control room." As they turned a corner, they encountered another group of Xarath guards. Talia and Sira sprang into action, quickly dispatching the enemies with swift precision. "This way," Sira shouted, leading the way to the control room. Finally, they arrived at the heavy door-marked bridge. Alex nodded at Talia, who kicked it open with a swift motion. The crew rushed in, weapons raised and ready. Inside, the Xarath crew was caught off guard, scrambling to defend themselves. Alex seized the moment, firing at the nearest guards. "Don't let them regroup." The battle was fierce, but the crew's determination proved overwhelming. In a matter of minutes, they secured the bridge, taking down the last of the Xarath defenders. Panting, Alex surveyed the room. It was dimly lit, filled with screens displaying various tactical data. "We did it," he breathed, a surge of victory washing over him. "Now let's take control." Sira moved to the main console, her fingers flying over the controls. "I'll lock them out of communications and navigation," she said, focused and determined. "We need to make this ship our own." Elara moved to the medical station, checking supplies. "We need to keep an eye on any injured personnel. We may need them if things escalate," she reminded them, her leadership shining through even in the chaos. "Layla, can you scan for any other nearby Xarath ships?" Alex asked, his mind racing with possibilities. "On it," she replied, her eyes darting across the screens. "I'll find out how many are in the area." As the crew worked, the air buzzed with the thrill of their success. They had taken a stronghold from the Xarath, and now they had a chance to turn the tide of the battle in their favor. Sira's voice broke through the tension. "We're in control. Communication systems disabled. They can't call for reinforcements." "Good work," Alex said, feeling a rush of adrenaline. "Now, let's prepare to move. We need to send a message to the Lysarians about our success." Layla turned, a look of determination on her face. "If we can take the cargo supplies, we'll hit them where it hurts." "Exactly," Talia chimed in, her excitement palpable. "We can make a real impact." As they began loading the cargo hold with supplies, Alex felt a surge of hope. They had successfully infiltrated the Xarath ship and were making a difference. But even as the thrill of victory surged through him, a shadow of uncertainty loomed. This was just one battle in a much larger war. "Let's make sure we're ready for anything," Alex said, his voice firm. The Xarath will respond. We have to stay vigilant. With their mission underway, they knew they were fighting not just for their lives, but for the future of the Lysarians and the freedom of countless worlds. Together, they would stand against the storm.